Buckle up, sports fanatics. This is the Sports Chasers Podcast, your HQ for in-depth sports talk. Join host Kevin L. Warren and crew as they dissect the hottest stories, ignite debates, and bring you closer to the action. From locker room whispers to expert takes, we cover it all. It's game time, so strap in and grab a drink. The Sports Chasers Podcast starts right now.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? What's happening, everybody? It's another edition of the Sports Chasers podcast coming to you. We're not live, man, but this is being taped on a Wednesday night around 8:30 in the PM on EST time, man. And hey, we got a good one for you. It's the interview sessions, man. DA, what's up with you, man? How are you tonight, sir? What's going on?
Everything is great, man. It's another interview, another chance to learn.
Yes,
I'm looking forward to it. You know, I'm an IT dude, so.
Oh yeah. This is gonna be definitely down your alley for sure, man. Make sure you like, click, and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you also, at the sound of my voice, you hit the like button and make sure you subscribe to the channel. Also, on the podcast side, you do what? Give us that 5-star review, 5-star review, man. So make sure you give us that 5-star review, man. But without further ado, man, let me introduce our guest tonight. Like I said, we got some special guests tonight, and let me just read this here real quick. It's welcome to another edition of the Sports Chasers podcast. This is the interview sessions where we sit down with innovators, game changers, and industry leaders who are making an impact in sports, business, and beyond. Today, we have a dynamic duo join us. It's Bryant and Rebecca Haines. They're serial entrepreneurs, passionate about faith, family, and country within a impressive background in defense, intelligence, corporate accounting, and tech sales. Between them, they have 11 children. That's right, a lot of kids. 11 children, 5 grandchildren, and 2 companies, and they're gearing up to launch something big. PixSeat is their latest venture in an app set to revolutionize fan engagement in sports and live events today. Today, we'll dive into a couple things: their inspiration behind PixSeat, their journey from concept to development. Also, what's next for this game-changing platform? Bryant, hey, guess what? He's an Alabama football fan. Roll Tides for all those.
Right, Roll Tide.
Yes, named after the Bear, Bryant himself, and Rebecca, a homeschooling mom of 7, are here to share their entrepreneurial journey and how they're shaping the future of fan experience, man. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, without further ado, man, let's meet our guests for tonight, Bryant and Rebecca Haines, man.
High tide.
All right. Thanks for having us on, guys.
High tide.
That's right.
What's going on, Bryant and Rebecca? We're glad to have you here. We was talking prior to the show, and we found these guys on Podmatch, and Podmatch is a wonderful thing. All you podcasters out there, you should absolutely. I'm bigging up my main man, Alex Sanfilippo. He has a wonderful product there, man. But we met them on there, and I saw their product thing, and I messaged them. I said, man, this would be great for us to talk to them about, and I think this is great. DA is a tech guy, so we're definitely going to dive into PixSeats tonight. So, Brian, Rebecca, glad to have you on the show, man. How you guys doing tonight?
We are great. Thank you so much for having us on, Kevin and DA.
No, this is like I said, you guys, we kind of, when we have these interviews, the conversations, but it's learning, right? And every interview we learn something else. We kind of make some friends, and we kind of figure out, okay, it's not just us learning, but hopefully, as we grow as a podcast and folks listen to our interviews, then they'll learn and they can, maybe find something that they can hold on to, and possibly this product. I hope, because I will. So
I think it's not going to change the game. It's going to change the game experience for fans everywhere.
Beautiful. Gotcha. I like that. I like the way that sounds. For real.
Well, I think it's time. It's time for something to change in fan engagement. It's time to go to the next level. And that's what Pixie is going to do. It's going to take the fan experience to the next level for them.
And I think, especially based upon, you hear all the talk of baseball's too boring. You're in the stands. It's too much of this and not enough of that. And my thought is, with what you guys are saying, quite possibly you can make that more enjoyable.
Yes,
Absolutely.
For the fan when they go to football game, hockey, baseball, basketball.
I don't know.
But I tell you, I think we're going to add some fun to the game. We're going to add
Right.
some fan engagement. We're going to add some convenience too, and we'll get into talking about what all PixSeat is and what it does. But I'm going to tell you, it's going to add a lot of features, including we're going to talk about this, some safety and security to the game.
Which is
okay.
important.
Yeah.
Very important. Very important.
Awesome. So, well, let's just dive into it. PixSeat, just give us a little overall. What is it? What's its overall thing, and what is it going to do for the fan experience and engagement when they go to a live event?
Sure. So PixSeat turns every cell phone in a stadium into a pixel to generate images and animations across the audience. So when everybody can hold up their phone, when you hold it up, your phone will be one pixel, your whole screen, not the flash. We're using the actual screen. And then when we've got tens of thousands of fans holding up their phones, we can do all kinds of cool images and animations. And those might be, the team's logo. It might be a player's number, might be a player's face. We can do images and icons and all kinds of things like that. And the venue, the team, they get to decide and design their own scenes. And then we can do fades, we can do animations, we can do fun things like you mentioned it, baseball games, making it more fun. You've seen the kiss cam. Okay,
Right.
Everybody's seen the kiss cam. What if we can show a virtual ball bouncing around the stadium, and then it stops on somebody, and that person wins a prize if they're participating. So it makes people want to play, and then because when they're holding up their phone during a pick scene, because they're participating, they're earning points. They're scoring literally by participating. So
Wow.
they're getting points for doing that. And then in addition to the stadium organizing some scenes, and we're not talking about scenes through the whole game, just during the breaks and things like that. Maybe in the course of a whole 4-hour football game, we might have 10 minutes total. So we're not wearing out your battery or anything like that. We're not taking you away from the game either. But we're delivering fun, interesting things. We're also delivering real-time stats to the fans during the game, which, by the way, is a valuable tool.
Very much so.
We're also, speaking of delivery, we're creating the ability to have concessions delivered to your seat without having to get up and go get them.
Man.
So, yeah, tell me that ain't a big advantage. I think I'm excited about that one.
2 hot dogs, burger, please, and a Coke, please. 7B.
Right. And if you're participating in enough scenes, some of that stuff might be free for you. Instead of paying $10 for a drink or a burger, we can deliver it to you like that for free. So I think it's going to be more fun.
Right. And if you need to find the nearest exit, there's bathroom, the nearest concession stand, whatever, we're going to do that as well. Help you find things and locate things so you don't have to, get lost meandering or whatever. That will be very helpful too.
Right. And it's funny, my background is in defense and intelligence. This is not a defense and intelligence app. This is a fun app. Some of the things I've worked on where we had to do things like geolocation without triangulation or GPS. So I'm bringing some of that tech in, and where I've worked with AI for the last 12 years, I'm bringing some of those things in. So we're using those technologies, and DA, this ought to click with you. We're using technologies that are normally not applied to a fan in a stadium, and we're making it fun. And one of the things that we all know everybody faces in a stadium, if you're in a big football stadium where there's 100,000 people, you might have 5 bars on your phone, but you got no data at all, no bandwidth. We're delivering edge computing and edge data delivery by creating a network among the cell phones that are there. So we're resolving that. We're gonna make it.
I can see the utility, and it's a brilliant idea, right? So I'm just going to tell you that because the pixels, it's funny. I remember the movie, right? That was just came out a few years ago, with I think it was Adam Sandler or one of those guys. Like, they were playing a game or something. And you start to think about that. Each screen is a pixel.
Yeah. Right.
And you can have a 7th inning stretch. Everybody puts up their phone as a big 7, right? Yep. On that side of the stadium, right? And you're thinking, like, that's incredible. And then when that's done, you can make an order for your concessions. And then, us guys, I got to go to the bathroom every 5 minutes, right? So I'm getting old. So while I'm going to the bathroom, they can deliver the food to the family. And then when I come back, we're good to go,
Yeah.
And we can, all kinds of things. Like there's so many items that you could assist fans with.
Exactly.
From, like you said, it's not so much geolocating, but, going to the bathroom, knowing where you're going,
Which one's on congestion?
Where did I park? Yes.
Yeah, where did I park? And how does it look, right?
Yeah.
And are there a lot of cars still there? Should I wait?
Right.
I'll just sit here and let some cars go, and it's easier for me to leave,
Wheelchair accessibility, things
Yeah,
like that.
you guys, shoot, you're just, golly, gee, you're scratching. You don't know. I don't know how far this can go, especially as you start to work with the leagues and the stadiums, right? So if you're in Alabama, and you're at the game, you can have numbers, you can do all kinds of stuff.
Right. And I'm going to add to it here. Now, our competitors who do something similar, but not as well and not as complete as what we do, they can do some images and some text across an audience. But we do so much more, and we deliver services with it. We make it fun. So, for example, if you're sitting on the 50-yard line and you want to create a fourth down or fourth quarter symbol, you pick that. You send out a signal to everybody around you. Everybody joins in because you picked that symbol. We can't let fans just create whatever they want. We know sports fans. I'm a fanatic. I know you can't create whatever I want, but you let me pick from options. So then. If 100 or 200 or 500 or 1,000 people want to join in, we can. It gets bigger with however many people join in, and then we can compete with the fans on the opposite side, creating scenes. And there's all kinds of other things we're doing with. It's just going to make fun, and that's really what it's about, is the fan game day experience, making it more fun, more interesting, and more useful. Because when I was a kid, I used to go to every Alabama game I could get to, basketball and football. I was a Cub Scout back in the day. I would get into the stadium and help people find their seat so that I could stay around afterward, just to watch the game for free. But back then, a ticket was like $8. Now, if you got a ticket for $8, you can check it. It's probably not real. So we're
probably right.
Yeah, exactly. We're making it more valuable for that $800 ticket or $400 ticket you're buying, so that you're getting more out of it.
Right.
And then I mentioned safety. Some of the things we're doing with safety, because Rebecca and I both work with Rescue One Global, a group that helps women and children out of human trafficking. And we've learned that at these games, when you've got 100,000 people, nearly every one of these games, a couple of people go missing and get trafficked. It happens regularly. So we're going to make it so if my 10-year-old son goes missing, I can upload a picture in the app, send out a signal, what we're calling a NAT alert.
Right.
And it goes out to everybody in the area. We ask everybody to hold up their phone. Now we've got 1,000 cameras looking around, and we're using AI with facial recognition to find the missing person. We're not relying on people's eyes. We're relying on all those cameras to find the missing person in the crowd.
And the sooner you find them, the more likely that they'll be safe.
100%. Yes, the quicker you find them.
Yeah.
Man, that's the whole thing you're talking about, the fan engagement, some of the safety mechanisms, and you said something earlier about bandwidth and creating bandwidth. Listen, not so much the pro stadiums, but sometimes in some college stadiums that don't necessarily have as much revenues as some of the bigger Division Ones, they sometimes run into that problem where you don't have enough, internet, unfortunately, and then you get 40,000, 50,000 people in there and you got no bars.
Right.
And that's like DA said, this is just revolutionizing, and we're praying that this thing shoots to the moon and the stars for you guys. Let me ask you this: what was the aha moment for you to create this thing?
So I was at the Alabama LSU game in 2016.
Of course you were.
Right. My best friend was with me. He's a big LSU fan. Well, he's actually
2016.
Yeah, his name's Scully, so he's not a big.
Was at LSU in 2016, wasn't he?
No, it was at Alabama.
Oh, he was at Alabama. Okay, so y'all were beating up on Les.
Yeah, that's right. We sure did. And I was being a little bit rowdy. He didn't like it as much because we were winning. We did the wave around the stadium. You guys have seen the wave 100 times.
Of course.
I've seen it 100 times, and I thought this is cool, but we've got to make it better. And I didn't know how to do that. And then I was talking with some friends about it. The following weekend, on Friday night, I'm at my son's high school football game, and the fans on the other side there's a bunch of them that are holding up their the phones with the flash, and you can see the light. They're trying to distract our players or whatever. And I thought, wait a minute, that's not it, but I can do better. So I had some friends come over to my house after the football game, and I gave each of them a separate color to put on their screen, had them stand out in the street. We created a fade of colors, and I was like, this is it. Now we can just animate those. So I've been working on testing and development, but went through some hard times in life, went through a pandemic or something like that in 2020, didn't get anywhere with it. And then last year, Rebecca said, it's time. Pixy is ready to go. Let's build it and let's do it. So she's my inspiration. We started, it was last August, we got started with the patent. We're now patent pending. I just got off the phone with the patent office today. Awesome. That's the first patent. We've got 7 other patents we're working on to make this even better. Some of those I can't tell you about, but I'll tell you some things. I'm just going to tell you one of them is a thrust function. And basically, when fans are shaking their hands in the stands, we're going to make it so that creates waves of light. We're going to make it so the fans are designing by how they're shaking their hand.
That's a good idea.
And these are things that I think Apple and Android will be interested in. Some of the phone manufacturers will be interested in. And these are not complex things, but the way we implement them is where it comes in fun. So the impetus was making the game more fun and making it more interesting while you're at the game. So we've been talking with some great people at some of the biggest schools in the country. I'm not allowed to name.
No, that's fine. That's
fine. No, you're fine. No, absolutely. No,
I won't name any names at all.
Alabama.
Well, you just have to come back for part 2.
Alabama.
Right. Hold tight, DA.
Listen, man, I don't know. They lost 3 games this year, and I was heartbroken. So
DA, don't start.
I'm sorry.
You're hurting my feelings. I'm going to cry right here in front of everybody. A million people are going to be watching me cry.
Oh man, listen, I've already done it. It's cool.
Yeah. But we're going to come back next year.
I'll say this before we move on to the tech thing. DA was absolutely an advocate for the University of Alabama on this show. Talking about, and we had some pushback on this, but DA was the number one guy who defended the University of Alabama on this show. So
he was a good coach, and he had a great first year. I don't know how many coaches can come into an environment like the SEC and have a 9-3 season. I mean,
he's fine. They just were not consistent,
right?
Because listen, Saban was a different dude.
Yeah,
and Saban was only Saban when he became Saban, right? He was good at LSU. I mean, he was good at Michigan State. But when he got to Alabama, he had created a standard, and he almost didn't have to coach as much because the guys that came there understood what was expected. Because he basically only, he worked with the DBs. He had great assistants. We know that. He coached the DBs for the most part. And he had a lot of DBs come through there and get to the NFL. But got good running backs every year. I mean, from Trent to King, what's his name in Baltimore, to Little Mark. Like, he always had great running backs, solid quarterbacks. One just won the Super Bowl. Solid quarterbacks that were, they didn't try to do too much. I don't think he ever had one that ever tried to do too much.
No.
And from the recent times, because everybody thought the Alabama quarterback stunk, right?
Right. They've always been game managers, they call them.
Yeah. And then you got Tua. What's the guy that was? I still think the guy that played for the Patriots is going to be okay. What's his name? College. He came after Tua. I think he was a good quarterback.
Yeah. Alabama's had many great quarterbacks, but not superstar quarterbacks. And I say that it just as Jalen just did a pretty darn good job. I mean, carrying the team.
Jalen, he essentially does the same thing that he was doing in college.
Yeah.
He's a coach's son. He's going to run the plays. You know, he's going to do exactly what you asked him to do. Doesn't make a lot of mistakes, you know, and I'm telling you, he probably impressed me the most starting as a freshman, getting beat out, coming back in the playoffs, you know, winning, you know, in the playoffs, coming back, you know, and then the next year going to Oklahoma and playing really well. So a lot of kids would have left that sophomore year.
Yeah.
The way it started off with Tua, so forth and so on.
And you know, when you're talking about those individual players, what I'm excited about in the college space, I know a lot of people are hating on NIL right now, but I'm excited about when PixSeat can make a difference for a player. So when a player has a good play, and we can feature them in the app, and then more people that look at the stats on that player and look at the read up on that player through the app, that player gets more money. I'm excited to make a difference in a player's life.
And that is something I did not think about, but it's good because most people, I think, misunderstand NIL with collectives. Yeah. And not a lot of kids are getting NIL money,
right?
But they are getting, you know, the collectives, money. Pull together those dollars and they pay the kids. But NIL would be something different, and that would come directly via a deal you would have. You know, I don't know how. I assume it's kind of counted like royalties or something, but however they do it, you'll have a lawyer to help you pull that together. That I'm sure of. So,
yeah, and I think making a difference in the game and the lives of the players and the coaches. I mean, heck, we were talking about Coach Saban a minute ago and some of his assistants. Look at Kirby Smart now, one of the greatest coaches in college football today, and he was an assistant coach not too long ago under Nick Saban. So. We're seeing lots of developments in the field, not just in football, but in every field. And we want to be there on the field or in the stands, making a difference for everybody.
Yeah, I think you guys are well on your way.
Yeah,
like well on your, because everything you said is something that you kind of think about. Like, wow, why not? You know, because we use our phones for everything else.
You needed.
Yes, ma'am. Like, it could be a one-stop shop. The way, you know, I guess you would want a phone to help you, right? Just you know, you just want to look at Instagram. No, like the phone is really helping you enjoy the game.
Yeah, and we've got one when you talk about the phone and the device, we've got one university we're working with. They want us to, instead of delivering them PixSeat, they want us to build PixSeat into their app. We're like, okay, we can do that. We've got another university that says, we don't want an app. We want people to use their browser. So we're building a version of that for them. So it's the same functionality, but the way we're doing it just varies.
Customizing it.
But getting into the tech, that's where it gets more fun because, you know, when you're in a stadium, we talked about the limited bandwidth. One of the things that we're doing, and I can't talk about how because this part is still the patent isn't submitted yet.
Yes, sir.
But the way that we propagate the signal for whatever scene we're running across an audience where there's a very limited bandwidth, we're creating an edge network, and then we're sending the packets of information across the audience, even though there's no cell signal or no Wi-Fi there.
Wow!
So we're able to send that signal out to 105, 110,000 fans over a course of a few seconds, and then trigger everybody's devices to participate.
Ooh, that's cool.
It is some game changing or game experience changing.
That's mind blowing.
So are you? No, we have to talk offline. Yeah. I was going to ask something that I know where that was leading, and there's really no reason to. You know, everybody does not need to know how the sausage is made.
That's correct. That's exactly right.
Not yet, anyway.
It's going to come out, but. We are, like I said, we are patent pending, and when we get these other patents submitted, we'll be able to discuss more of it. But it's a total of 8 patents. It's all kinds of tech, and you know, I gotta bring up our competitors, and they're worth talking about. When I started working on Pixy, I didn't know that there was anything like it out there. There wasn't anything back then, so we weren't looking to compete. But now, because it's taken us a while to get here, there are some competitors out there. There was some at the Super Bowl the other night. We've seen them at the Super Bowl in previous years, but not as advanced. Last year, they did waves of light. This year, they could do some text, although it wasn't very clear. We can do better than that. And then there's also competitors. We've got one that just uses wristbands two competitors that use wristbands that light up. But it's like the wristband is sitting in your seat when you get there. It lights up. You don't do anything. It lights up or it don't. There's nothing for you to do. So that's not very engaging. But we can do better.
That's actually not competition for you.
Yeah.
They kind of don't do what you do because you're actually taking the phone, the device, and propagating it maybe 8 different ways outside of, just waving it for the colors is great, but you can order your food, you can do this, you can get directions around the stadium, you could, so forth and so on, parking, and a bunch of other things that you can do. Order, call you, make sure your Uber's there.
I was about to say that.
Other things that you can do.
Mm-hmm.
The wristband is just a wristband, and so they're not playing in the same space you're playing in.
Well, they also, when the wristbands are not being used, they're also lithium batteries that get left around. They create garbage. It's not safe. Right. And also, to use those devices, it costs a lot of money for the venues, where we're not going to cost the venues money.
We actually create revenue for the venue.
Right. So it's a totally different approach. It is, they've kind of trailblazed using light, using images, but we're actually going to take it and revolutionize it into something.
Man, that's so huge. Let me ask you, what's one of the biggest hurdles?
Oh man, there's been a lot so far. Obviously, one of the big ones is building PixSeat is expensive, and we are not independently wealthy. We're very blessed. We are not independently wealthy. With 11 kids, that ain't possible. But we do have a whole offense on our side, if that helps.
That you do, yes.
But what we've been doing, we've been raising funds through investors. We got through the first round of investors. That was actually strikingly easy to raise $100,000. I got to tell you, you present what we. What
good
we
idea.
What we were. Oh, thank you. What we were told is there's 2 parts of fundraising for a new tech, a startup. One is the jockey, and one is the horse. The horse is the tech you're building or whatever the solution. The jockey is the people that are running it. We apparently we're okay jockeys, so we attracted some attention on that pretty quick. But when you ask what's the challenges, the next round we're raising $1 million, and we hired a guy to help us with that. We spent a pretty good chunk of money on it, and we kept getting promises of these meetings with these tech investors and these people that are aligned with our values. And after about 6 months, we'd spent a lot of money, and we hadn't had a single meeting with investors. We were like, I don't think we can keep doing that. We gotta change our game about how we approach investors. So now I'll tell you, we one of the things we're doing to change that. One of the members on our board, you may know Craig Colquitt, former 2-time Super Bowl champion, and his 2 sons, Dustin and Britton Colquitt, also Super Bowl champions. They're also on our team now. So we've got them as investors and partners. And then we've got other investors and partners that are aligned with our values and aligned with our principles. And we're bringing in other people that have the same passion for the game that we do. And that's really, I think it's really important. We're finding how critical it is that you don't have an investor that's just got money, but an investor that matches your interest and your passion.
And believes in what you're doing. That's
absolutely, yeah.
Exactly. Another challenge has been testing, because you have to get a large group of people together. You can't just set up a lab with phones. That's not exactly what we need. We need people to give us feedback. We need them to use it at different heights, different directions. We need beings. So getting a large group of people together to test it, that's been one of our challenges as well.
Yeah, that beta testing, I was thinking that would be a little hard.
Mm-hmm. We've got a big stack of cell phones we can test with. That's not the same as 1,000 people participating in the test.
You guys might have to go to one of those Hoover games or spring game in Hoover, and their high school kids, because they're going to have their phones. So
exactly,
we're in discussions with it right now. Not them.
Weird as it sounds, a Hoover game, and even in the spring, you'll have far more than 1,000 folks there. So because it's Hoover.
There's some pretty big schools here near Nashville, Tennessee, where we live. And we're in discussions with a couple of those about showing up at some games and getting people involved. And then another thing that we're doing, where we recently learned about micro niching or radical niching, so that we're focused on a specific audience group. What we're going to be doing is for the college arenas, we're going to be focusing on just the student section for the first few games. So we can go on campus, we can get the students excited about it. They're usually younger and more tech savvy, more interested in adopting new things. We're going to get a bunch of students, 1,000 or 10,000 students involved. And then when we introduce this fall at some football games, we're going to have a student section that's really involved and really excited about participating. And that's going to show off what we can do in a better way. You won't have to wonder, did I see what I thought I saw? So we're excited about the ways we can test, but testing is a huge challenge. And DA, when you're testing software, usually you can test with a user here and a user there and make sure the user experience works. But for us, the user experience is irrelevant without dozens of people participating.
And eventually we'll move to the music space. This will be huge for concerts. If the Taylor Swift fans can say, "We love you, Taylor," using their phones.
Yeah.
They're going to be.
That'd be really cool, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, that would be really cool if they, pull up the phones to say, "We love you, Taylor."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That would be cool. That would
the fan gets to interact with the artist.
Yeah, that would be really
well. Make sure you check out
that now with lyrics and singing lyrics and parts of the song. I think that would be really cool. I don't the testing, like I said, like you'll be able to system test. I'm pretty sure that won't be, your system test will probably be pretty easy, but that UAT is going to be a bear. But
it is. But because one of the things we're working on with that, because we especially the early adopters, we want to make it worth their while. At every one of these events, we're going to give away some new phones. And I mean, everybody likes a T-shirt of these things, but what about if we can give you a new phone for participating? Not everybody, but some random participants will get a phone.
That opens up a lot for you with manufacturers of phones, and because they're going to want to, we're not going to get into how much the phones actually cost to make, which is nothing.
Right.
Right.
So like giving out a phone is absolutely, that's not even a thing to Apple or Google or Samsung or whoever the heck else is making the phones. And everybody's gonna want, of course, to be exclusive.
Yep.
That's gonna be one of your fights. But no, we're not gonna, say, we only, because that defeats the purpose of doing this if you're saying only Apple people, because not everybody has Apple.
No,
and
that wouldn't work.
there would be gaps in your images that you want. You want everybody to be involved, and that's what a pixel. That's what it means.
Right. Right.
Pixels are individual pieces.
Right. But they're irrelevant without other pixels.
Without the other pixels, they are just a color.
Right. So when some of the stuff we're doing with that, I'll tell you, when we first started building PixSeat, not just the app, but the producer system for event production, we were thinking about building it as one system. But then we realized we're really building a software as a solution for every venue. So it's a SaaS system. So one of the things we're building into the production app is a way that you can evaluate how many fans are participating, how many have shown up that have the app or are participating through the browser, and then we can simulate a scene before we run it and see if it's actually going to look right. So if we're going to create a Coca-Cola logo that goes around the stadium, we want it to be clear and crystal and beautiful. Right. And when we animate that going around the stadium, we want it to look cool. So one of the scenes we're working on for them, I got to tell you, I'm excited about. We're going to make it so that when a Coca-Cola bottle drops in on the two end zones, the fans are going to hold up their phones, and it's going to look like the stadium is filling up with Coke. So that's going to be pretty cool.
But forget it. We just got to talk, because I'm just,
you can ask it. We might say we can't talk about that yet, but you can throw it at me.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about some of the back end stuff. Like you're probably going to have a cloud, a SaaS, not a SaaS guy there,
right?
But someone at each school just to make sure they're set up to run right.
Yep, that's right.
Because this is not going to be a typical SaaS build at all. Right.
And I'll tell you, it's funny, as we're discussing it with the different venues, the different schools and pro teams as well, we're finding they want to make sure that they have full control of the system during a game. So even though we'll build it and we'll have it ready for them, and we'll have a subject matter expert on site in the production room.
Right.
It's really, our person won't be the person controlling it. It's the production team at that venue, and that's really empowering for them. And then for things like whenever they show an ad on the jumbotron, and we simultaneously put a call to action in your hand for that same ad, the production team has full control over that. So it's unique. It's customized to the fan and to the stadium. And in fact, I'll tell you, when you talk about customized to the stadium, we first thought we're going to have a tough time figuring out which advertisers to go with. And then we found out, no, these venues, they have a vendor.
Yeah.
So they'll give it to us, and we'll say, and some of them have already given it to us, and they'll say, hey, we want you to focus on this advertiser or this advertiser. So we're growing there in that way.
I was about to ask, how do y'all redefine digital marketing in these stadiums? So I guess that's answering part of my question, man. That's pretty neat right there. That's
very customized ads.
Yeah.
So if there was a Ford ad, it might show Rebecca at the same time as the ad comes up. It might show Rebecca a minivan. She's actually not into minivans, but it might show her a minivan if she were a soccer mom, and then it might show me F-250. I'll drive an F-250, so that's what it would show me. The ads will be entirely customized, and then after the event, the advertiser can still communicate with that person based on how they're interacting with that ad. So now, now we've delivered.
That's the long-term goals, because now you have another someone that Ford can text message, right? Or what you guys are out there? What was the quarterback you guys just had in Tennessee? The mayonnaise guy. You could do the mayonnaise commercials. With that joker.
You talking about Levitt, Will Levitt? Yeah,
there you go, Levitt. That's him. Mayonnaise dude out there in Tennessee. But yeah, that would be. Like I said, I see. I'm picking up what you're putting down. How about that? So I'm good. So
it's funny you say that, DA. About 98 or 99% of the people we talk to, as soon as we introduce what it is that we're building, they go, "Oh man, that's so cool." The other 1 or 2%, they use flip phones, and they're never going to catch on. That's okay.
Like, what?
Yeah, and that's cool.
Yeah, that's fine.
If it's a pixel, that's just one seat left out that's dark, so it's fine.
And I'll tell you, going back to the tech of it, if we're in a venue where we're using the app, we really don't need 100% of the people to have the app. If we've got 30 or 40% of the people with the app, when I've got the app open and I'm getting ready to load a scene, my device is sending out a signal to everybody around me, so that if Rebecca has the app, it signals her device, even if she didn't have a cell signal to receive that. Right. And if the person next to me over here on this side doesn't have the app, they can join in just using their browser because of the signal that my device sent out.
Okay.
So we're using something called Bluetooth Low Energy Advertising. It's not, that's not referring to advertising like ads, but it's the way we send messaging.
Got you. You had mentioned before, Brian, that you said you guys are going to start out with football first, correct? I said some of the universities that you said you was joking with us, of course. What is your next moves after that? Once you start that, what any other sport, or you just do you have some kind of marketing thing that you're trying to engage with that?
So we want to do all sporting events that happen either in enclosed structures or nighttime events, because it just doesn't show up during the day.
Correct.
Some of the services we build in work during the day, but the images won't show up in a daytime outdoor stadium. But then we're also going to music concerts. We're going to live events. We're working on a development that will allow us to go to impromptu events. So if there's a protest and you want to create scenes, or 100,000 Christians gathered just in Rome during the Olympics, if we were there, we could have created a scene across that audience. We're creating a version that will work in large churches and things like that. So we'll be everywhere that there are large groups. And then we're working on two other modes, we call them, separate from the stadium mode. We're working on a tailgate mode for parties before and after the game. We're working on a party mode that has nothing to do with sports, just a group of people that want to get together and play games where the devices are each individual a pixel or a part of an image.
Or if you want a group of people to help you say, "Will you marry me?"
Yeah.
Oh.
Gender reveals.
Yeah.
I was about to say, gender reveals. That's a big thing. Wow, yeah.
So we're making it. We're starting with sports, and then we're just going to work out. Concerts, venues, anything like that.
We're working with a group in Asia right now that they are facilitating large music concerts and large events where there's anywhere from 40 to 80,000 people. They want to bring PixSeat into their venues, and we're about to make that happen. So that's coming very soon.
And then
because I'm thinking, graduations.
Yes.
Especially like my son was at VMI, so there's like, you can't really. It's when we went, he was only a freshman, but we had to go to the graduation. You can't really do all that yelling and screaming at a military graduation. So like that would be something for families to do. Josh, hey Josh, and everybody that's in the family just.
That's our boy.
Yeah, that's it. That's it, man. Because there are situations where you just can't. So this makes so much sense to me, man.
Yeah,
so much sense.
About one aspect of safety. So if you're in a large crowd and you have a medical event, it can be difficult and challenging for the necessary people, the EMS, to get to you. And that's where PixSeat can help guide them and direct them to the person that needs help.
So we'll prompt people to hold up their phone. They don't even know what has to be on their phone. And we'll create a red and blue line to the point where the emergency is. We'll guide EMTs and police to the point where they need to be. And we'll guide people to get out of the way. So all kinds of things we can do to make it safer and more enjoyable to be at these events. And we can help people out in the process.
And then in future launches, we're going to do something when you're at home.
Yeah. I got to tell you about this. I'm excited about it. One thing we're working on, if you're at home watching the game, it's not quite the same experience, obviously. But when we've got 10,000, 20,000 cameras pointing at the field, and you can see what's happening on the field, you may not be paying attention to what your phone's doing, but we're capturing 10,000 perspectives of what's happening on the field. We're going to stitch that back together. When you're at home watching the game on your Xbox, you can choose your POV and see it in 3D.
Wow.
So we can stitch 10,000 perspectives and create a 3D POV. You can be the football, you can be the referee, you can be the center, you can be anybody on the. Imagine the POV of the umpire when that ball comes in, and you can see. Wait,
don't let this guy be the POV for that. He's going to. He might be one of your beta testers for the one at home. D8. So
you don't want to. You don't want to, sir.
You need to go on camera and let him be one of your.
That's a topic, a sore topic.
It should be. And when we can show that from the umpire's perspective, you could clearly see that was a strike, but he called it a ball.
Brian, please, Brian, please don't let this. I don't know if you listen to any episodes, man, but this guy hates when he'll say it. I'll say it eloquently for him. He says, "Kev, if there's a box on the screen and the ball goes into the box is supposed to ring strike, not ball. Am I correct?" I said, "Yes, sir." He says, "Then why and bloop, 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 bloop? Why is it not like that?"
They are inserting themselves in places that they ought not be.
Yeah. That can be dangerous.
That's all.
We can create a POV and show you what that umpire saw.
Then we can fire them like I want.
Yes. We can vote right there, real time vote on the umpire. Everybody, 80%.
We'll get fan engagement. It's just a big call, yes or no.
We're just gonna get him fired because he doesn't know what he's doing. See,
yeah.
Man, this thing y'all guys got, this product, y'all.
It's got legs.
It's
got legs.
Nah, it's got legs, arms, and head, man. It's forming. I love what you guys are doing with this and all the aspects of it, from, like you said, the fan engagement, getting food, getting your lift, whatever it needs to get, whatever, safety, missing children, things of that nature, human trafficking that you talked about earlier. Man, this is absolutely a wonderful thing, and
it's God and family. So like it has that behind it, right? So you're gonna kind of work on safety.
Yep.
And then you're going to work on, this and that, like the main idea of it is going to happen, right? The pictures and everything else, but it's that ancillary thing, those, ancillary items on the outside of it,
right,
of the game. The safety, the kids, the parking, that's what's going to keep it going, because they're gonna be, hey, dude, they got this app, and you can always see if you're parking, if or if it's a college game. A lot of kids are not driving to the game.
right.
Right. The stadium is usually close to the campus.
Right.
Or there's a bus, or there's this that takes them back to the campus. Or we say to the yard. That will take them back to the yard, to the dorms, or fraternity or sorority row, wherever the heck they're living at. They can get there, and they don't have to drive.
Right.
So there's so many ways that this helps just the ecosystem of a college game. It makes it a safer experience for everyone.
Yep.
We IT, we like to make things efficient, man. We'd rather have it work well than work fast.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, I'm a big tech guy. I'm a nerd, and I'm very comfortable with that title. We're working on some tech that's really going to innovate the entire game experience. I got to tell you, they say that you shouldn't tell anybody what you're doing until you do it. We're working on one. I got to give some background on it. The way we perceive 3 dimensions is by variations in brightness and color.
Right.
So we're working on one so that when you're sitting on the opposite side of the stadium, we can create what looks like in the middle of the field a 30 or 40 foot tall 3D rendering of a player on the field, whoever the star player was the last play. So it's going to be a matter of everybody hold up their phones, and then by varying the color and the brightness from where we are in the different positions, we're going to make it look like we've got a 30-foot tall player out there on the field. Yeah.
Like King Henry is 30 feet tall, so
I think he is, man.
Yeah, you could just have him do it. So yeah,
we don't even need to visualize that.
That would be really cool, though. That would be really cool. Like I said, where this stops, no one knows.
Right.
Because the technology and the AI, and remember, AI has a learning component of its own.
Right.
Where it learns on its own, based upon what you want it to do. So you're just saying, okay, well, we're gonna let the dog go in the yard. You're not when you get back to the yard, it's going to be different, because they're going to continue to keep,
Right.
moving and growing and growing and growing, and then you're going to be like, wow,
yeah,
this is.
And I'll tell you, when you call it the yard, we're in discussions with several different sports types. So we're talking with some pro soccer players from FIFA about bringing it global with global football, what they call it. They don't know what
That would be it. So
Yeah.
at that point in time, you would be a billionaire.
Yeah, I don't mind that. That works for me.
Because that's how the stadiums are bigger. There are more fans per game.
Yep.
And everybody has a phone. And because there's always a language component,
right,
those phones will probably mean more in a football game overseas than they may mean here, because language goes away when you're dealing in the technology. So that makes sense. Especially like if you're in France and you're an English speaker and don't know France, but you want to get a Coca-Cola and whatever, and you can still order and make it happen. Oh my God. Shoot.
Yeah. And then we're I don't know if you guys have seen any of the K-pop concerts, but at K-pop concerts, everybody buys or brings a light stick that lights up, and that looks cool, but it doesn't do anything other than light up. So we're working on a device that attaches to your phone for concerts and events that's going to increase the brightness a lot. And then we're going to be able to create scenes at every kind of concert. So we're going everywhere that there's large crowds. We're going to be a part of it, and we're going to make the experience more fun.
Well,
wow,
guys, just know I sweep floors and I do windows, right? So when the mansion's there, because I know your kids probably won't want to do any of that stuff. So, salary is, we can negotiate.
we're open to negotiating that.
Yeah, you know.
I'll tell you my terms off the thing, because I got whatchamacallit. I'll tell y'all off the afterwards. Let me ask you. Let me go into some other stuff. What is the day like at your household? Like, for real, with this going on, the kids. What is it? And the 5 grandkids and the dogs.
Our calendar is absolutely essential. Every day we have to, or the day before, we have to look at our calendar and see who goes where, what calls do we have, what appointments do we have to be at. Our youngest is autistic, and so that also pretty much, you know, what her schedule is, what she's got going on that day. So it's chaotic, and a lot of times
it's controlled chaos.
Yes, it has to be. It has to be.
And for the most part, we work from home for our other business. So, you know, when we're doing consulting with the Department of Defense and other agencies, for the most part, we're able to do that from home. Sometimes we have to travel for those, but and then we've got some commercial clients too. So we stay busy. Somebody recently asked us on a discussion forum, "What's your hobbies?" We're like, let me see. We work and we spend time with family. But I'll tell you what, Ada, our youngest, the autistic child, she is a major Minecraft fan. So therefore, we are Minecraft fans. And now
that's what we do in our spare time.
Yeah,
we play Minecraft.
It's a hard game, man. That Minecraft thing is very hard, man.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, I'm in the process of recreating Bryant Haines Stadium in Minecraft to scale.
You see, I would just have Alabama playing like on the street somewhere, because I couldn't, like, stadium's too big, too much is going on. Beautiful stadium, but
let me ask you this: if you guys had no responsibilities, no work, no nothing, what would the two of y'all do?
Travel.
Yeah, and I love working in the shop, working with my hands, whether it's carpentry or mechanical stuff or electronics. I love building things. I'm an uber nerd, so creating things and building, remodeling, that kind of stuff. I love that stuff. So, but traveling, we enjoy travel, and we enjoy being together. We're one of those weird couples that likes being together, even though we don't have a shared Facebook profile, if that makes any sense.
Don't start.
that Facebook profile, that's, you know, you don't want
you're
that.
Gonna touch some nerves, but I've seen that. I think that's to each his own. To each his own. That
I don't have one at all, so there you go.
Yeah,
how do you survive?
Huh?
How do you survive?
Oh man, very well. I'm not in. I'm a nerd, but you know, like, I'm, I guess, a curmudgeon nerd, because I don't, you know, I like to watch my Star Trek and this and that, and, you know, I research everything I watch, and, you know, I'm big into stuff like that, like, so, and
but you're missing
that
out.
and guns.
You're missing out on the spam, the messages that you get in Messenger. You're missing out on that, because, you know, you want to be my friend, you know.
I don't want to. Nope. I don't either. I don't. And, you know, the friends I got is the friends I got, and and I just don't make any new friends. So
now, and actually, I've brought Rebecca into the TikTok world. I sent her enough TikToks, she finally had to download it in.
I know, it was bombarded.
there is some information, though, you know,
that
you can, at least I've gathered from TikTok. So
yeah, he's on TikTok.
As long as my For You page doesn't get messed up. Like, after it went away and it came back, my For You page was all messed up, and I've had to, like, go find the people that I want to follow, you know, and get it back where it was supposed to be.
Yep. But Kevin, your question, we are booked all day, every day, from 6 o'clock in the morning to about 11 o'clock at night. And we love what we do. We love life. We're not struggling through it.
I can tell.
But it's exhausting, man.
And recently we had flu, and that took us down, and that was rough.
Yeah. When you guys told me last week, I was like, man, I said, man, pray for your guys' strength, man, that y'all get. Hey, y'all in the fan engagement business, right? So what's the most unforgettable live event you guys ever attended?
I haven't been to as many. I've been to a few games, but you've been to way more.
The most unforgettable live event.
No.
Well, the last football game that we
Wait,
went to.
I got to tell you about the most unforgettable event I did not attend. So
Go ahead.
this is bad. This is bad. Alabama had an upcoming game with Penn State, and I was sick that weekend, and I did not get to go to the stadium, and we lost in Tuscaloosa against Penn State. This was back in the 80s, 86,
Yeah,
I think. And I was convinced that we lost because I didn't bring my mojo to the game. I was convinced. I cried that night. I was convinced we lost because Bryant didn't show up and help Bama win. I didn't cheer loud enough for him. So that's an unforgettable event for me, even though it was because I wasn't there. But I think gosh, some of the Iron Bowls that I've been to have been just super cool. Those are always fun. Which, by the way, we're going into basketball as well. With a couple of these schools, we've got negotiations for football, basketball, baseball, and even their other indoor sports. But we're working on ways to participate in every type of event where there's large crowds. And I look forward to this week. There's a bit of an Iron Bowl of basketball going on. I don't know if you guys heard about this.
Yeah.
A number 1 and number 2 team. The order's going to change after this game. I'm pretty sure. And it's happening in Tuscaloosa at Coleman Coliseum. So I'm excited about that game.
Man, that's all right. That's all right, man. This has been great, man. This has been really good. Bryant and Rebecca, thank you so much, man. This has been a very, very great interview. Like I said, I learned so much about your product. When is the product supposed to launch? Do you have a launch date yet?
So we'll have an MVP released to both of the app stores. It'll be early March, but it'll just be the MVP. So you'll be able to do some events, and we're working on potentially getting into a nationally televised event in February or March, possibly. And then we'll be in some big stadiums for football this September.
How can people reach you? You guys got social media, just in case. Let them know where you're found at.
We are on TikTok. We are on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. Yeah. All over the place.
And we're at PixSeat.com, PixSeat. We turn every pixel into every seat into a pixel.
Ladies and gentlemen, they are Bryant and Rebecca Haines here.
I thank you. Great meeting you. You need any pro bono free project management work, just hit me up.
Absolutely.
I'll send you out a project plan and send it back. All right.
That sounds great.
Sounds good. We've really enjoyed it. Thank you so much for having us on.
Nah, this was fun. This is fun, and I feel like I've been knowing you guys for a while, man. And just having a conversation, man, about a wonderful. I call it a gift. That's what you guys got in your hands, and I'm thankful for the inspiration behind it and what this is going to do to any and everybody as it's shared throughout the world, man. I'm gonna get you guys the last thoughts. What's your final thoughts, and we're gonna get on out of here.
Well, we just want to say we hope to make a big difference for everybody, the fans, the venues, the advertisers, and obviously the athletes. We want to make it more fun for everybody, more engaging for everybody. And we are excited about the way we can change that game day experience. And we're grateful for the people that are following us.
Got you. Guys, thank you so much. Listen, we're going to get on out of here, man. On behalf of myself, I'm Kevin L. Warren, your host and moderator for the DA for Bryant and Rebecca Haines. Yo, this is the Sports Chasers podcast, man. Y'all be good, be great. Brian and Rebecca, don't go nowhere. Hey, we'll talk to y'all on whenever we talk to y'all, because this is tape. Have a good evening.
That's a wrap for today's episode of the Sports Chasers podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube and your favorite podcast platforms, and connect with us on all social media channels for exclusive content and updates. We'd also love for you to join the conversation, share your thoughts, and become part of the Sports Chasers community. And remember to tune in next time for some more real sports talk. Until then, stay frosty.